Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me again. I do appreciate it. I wanted to do a 6-month follow-up on the Tikka T1X 22 long rifle that I bought. I did get a couple of questions about it. And people saying, well, how's it gone? Has it gotten better since you last shot it? Have you had any good results with it? So I thought I'd share that on today's video. So what I've done too, I've got this 4-16x44 Hawk scope on there. The reason I use the Hawk scopes for the cheaper rifles is simply because when I hold over using my dope chart or the Strelok application, which you can buy for iPhone or Android, I actually use the mil dots on the scope. I don't dial anything because obviously at a really cheap rate, those turrets are not trackable, they're not very good, it's not going to go back to zero. So what I actually do is I work out the mil dots with my Strelok app. So currently with this one, I am shooting at about 150 meters before the base of the reticle is extended and I can't shoot any further than that. Anything beyond that and I'll just be guessing. The reason I put the 4-16 on it too is because when I buy a rifle, if I'm only going to put a 3-9x40 on it for an example, it's a hunting rifle, I put this on, take it to the range, sight it in, do some group testing, see which one actually groups the best, and then I put my scope of choice on there. Of course, if it's a, like my 260 or 243, they're like 4.5 to 30, 3.5 to 18 type scopes, so I don't need to do that. It's just on these hunting rifles that I actually do that with. I did put the Atlas rail on it as well, which I think is the 3-inch version. No, sorry, do tell a lie. These are the Seekins rails. The Seekins rails are awesome, and I'll tell you why. Right on the bottom there, and I'll get a picture of it, you can actually put a sling swivel through there, which is fantastic because sometimes when you do these bipods, if I actually take this one off, normally on here, normally the sling swivel stud is actually protruding, which is what I don't want. So sometimes with those smaller rails, if you do have a protruding sling swivel stud, the rail can, this bipod can get caught on it and then you can't get your sling through it, which is totally annoying. So this is purely flat. As you can see, nothing there protruding out. So when I actually decide to put my Atlas PSR bipod on there, it simply just screws straight on with the quick release lever and we're ready to go. Absolutely perfect. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to talk about some of the negatives about the gun first, and then I want to talk about some of the positives of the gun and what I really like about it and what I think, just thoughts in general. So first things first, let's go some negatives first. If I was you and you're actually going to buy this gun, get rid of the stock straight away. In my opinion, the stock is not one of its best features, that's for sure. When I first started shooting the rifle, I had all different types of ammunition. I just couldn't get this thing to group. I tried everything. I tried almost every ammunition that I could get at the shop. I think I spent about $350 on ammunition to see if this thing would actually work. I just couldn't get it working. I really just could not get a good, decent group out of it. Now, you might think, 1.5 inches at 50 meters is probably about reasonable for, just a standard off-the-shelf rifle. Well, my standards are a bit higher than that. So, again, if you're going to bring out a 22 rifle and it's going to be at the higher end of the 22 pricing structure, then it needs to shoot. It needs to shoot, simple as that. Now, what did I actually do to it? So what I decided to do is I took the stock off and there was, first off, what I actually did, in between the stock there was this little block on the T1X stock. So I took that block out first, went back to the range, spent more money shooting. No good, didn't work, wasn't really happy with the results, and it was pretty much still doing the same thing. So I thought, what else can I do for it? So what I decided to do was, because I put the GRS stock on the 260, I decided that because they're interchangeable, I'm actually going to put this stock, the varmint stock, T3X varmint stock, on the T1X, which you can see here. It's got that, you got the cheek weld or whatever you want to call it, and it was, it seemed to do a little bit better. But what I then had to do was go out and test all the ammunition again. So that's one thing first. The magazine, fine, pretty happy with the magazine. Haven't really had any feeding issues with the magazine. Sometimes 1 or 2 ejections here or there. Not really an issue because I've shot probably 1,000, 1,500 rounds out of it by now. So could have just been me pulling back the bolt and not sort of doing it properly or doing a half-assed job of it. So no issues with that whatsoever. What else are some of the main cons for me were around the stock and just the accuracy and having to spend more money on a firearm at a premium price that should already be shooting, in my opinion. Now, you might ask me, what rounds am I shooting and what are the results? I'm pretty much getting just over 1/2 inch with Ely high velocity ammunition. It's interesting because every time I've had a 22, pretty much nothing high velocity would group up to my standard out of those 22s. That includes my CZ Tactical. As soon as I ran over to subsonics, the guns would shoot fantastically. I just think some 22s, or in general, if the speed is too fast, you really don't get the good results out of the rifle. Yeah, sure, you're good to 50 meters, but again, my standards are a lot higher than to anyone else. Now, like I said, when I do this, discussion, guys, like people say, oh, you're ragging on the Tikka T1X. I've been saying good things about Tikka for probably the best part of 9 years on my podcast. I mean, to be brutally honest, with the amount of publicity, good publicity that I've actually given Tikka, and the importers Beretta about Tikka, they probably owe me, several thousands of dollars worth of sales in regards to me giving them good reviews, not only on this channel, but also on the podcast too, when I'm also talking about all the Tikka centerfires. So again, I'm a big fan of Tikka. I want people to sort of understand that. To me to say there's a few negatives in regards to this rifle is quite sad, really, because Tikka always bring out pretty much a pretty good product at a good price point. I think their pricing structure now is getting a little bit expensive for what they are. The price hikes that are happening, and they need to be careful they don't price themselves out of that low to medium pricing market, which I think they're in danger of doing going forward if they continue to keep upping their prices. But all in all, I'm happy with it. So let me tell you some other issues. Now let's go back to one of the other negatives I didn't like. It come with a plastic end cap. $900 and something rifle, and it comes with a plastic end cap. I mean, I don't know what on earth Tikka were actually thinking, shipping this thing with a plastic end cap. I mean, literally the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I actually had to go out and spend money on a alloy tip, which again, it cost me another $40. Okay, so that's another issue that I didn't like about it. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with it. I've actually got it working now, which is fantastic, but it has cost me a lot of money to do so. So that's my only disappointment, the costings that I've spent to do it and having to change the stock. What I really wish, and if Tikka are actually listening and or Beretta, what I was hoping they would do, is in the future, I wish they could just sell these like a Hauer 1500 with just a barreled action. We purchase them as a barreled action, and then we can actually choose the stock we want to put on it. Or have both options. If you want the barreled action, you can buy the barreled action. If you want the straight off the shelf purchase with the stock, you can also do that too. But if the first thing I would even think about doing with this rifle, 100% is changing the stock to a stock of your configuration, one that you want and one that's going to suit you, and see if that makes a difference. It seems to have made a difference for me, which is absolutely fantastic. I can actually get pretty much just over half-inch groups at 50 meters, which I think is to be expected. At a rifle, I am paying a premium compared to, say, CZ and other rifles in that market. So, like I said, guys, I expect it to shoot for that price. There's absolutely no excuses. I don't care what the name of the gun is, whether it's Hauer, Tikka, Remington, Savage, whatever it may be. If you're paying a good price for that firearm and you're paying at the higher end of the 22 range, there's no excuse why this firearm just should not shoot out of the box. Yeah, sure, I understand you've got to find different types of ammunition. Different types of ammunition will be better in some rifles than other rifles. So let's talk about what I do like about it too. I do like the fact that it's got the 16-inch barrel. That's one of the things I really do like about it. Sure, that's more aesthetics and doesn't really affect the performance, but I do actually like that. Of course, as per usual on the Tikkas, the bluing is really nice as well. I can't see any machining marks or anything like that. I've left the bolt as standard at the moment. I haven't changed it or anything like that. So I'm really getting good results, guys, and I'm really, really happy about that. Not really happy about having to change the stock, but it's not really a big deal because I did have one on hand. But like I said, if you are purchasing the rifle and you do have to change the stock, you have to factor in that price. If you're going to take the plastic cap off and put an end cap on, even though it's $40 or $50, that's another expense you have to look at. Of course, going through all the different types of 22 ammunition to see what actually shoots. That was probably the biggest killer for me, wasting time on ammunition when I wasn't changing anything in regards to the rifle. I hadn't changed the stock. I took the block out of it to see if it would shoot. That didn't work. So my only option was to change the stock. I did change the scope on it at one stage too. I changed the rings on it as well to make sure it wasn't that particular issue on the rifle. But now that I've changed the stock, I'm actually getting pretty good results. Now the biggest question is, you might be asking, would you, or would I actually, I'll say me, maybe you guys don't have one yet, but would I actually buy this rifle again at this pricing point, knowing what I know now? Honestly, it's a real tough one to answer, guys. And you guys know I'm a big fan of Tikka. And, one of the things they did do, which did piss a lot of people off, was, they announced these over 12 months before they hit the shores in Australia. And I think, honestly, that did the brand a little bit of damage. I think it did. Because, in my opinion, saying something's coming out 12 months in advance with constant putting it back. Oh, they're not coming out yet. I think it did damage to the brand. That's just my personal opinion. But, I guess the question at hand, would I buy it again? Man. I do like it. But, and this is coming from a huge Tikka fan. All my rifles are Tikka except for my CZ455 Tactical. So, non-biasly, I think there are better pricing firearms out there that will do the exact same job as this one. I think they'll do possibly a better job than this one at a cheaper price. And you may not have to change the stock on it, right? So, I'll give you an example perfectly right now. The competition in this price point would be the CZ455 stainless. Now, I know I had my friend, he just bought a 17 HMR and a 22 in the CZ455 stainless. Man, he loves them. Those things are tack driving unbelievably. Last time I looked, they were about $800. Maybe they've gone up to $850 or $900 now. I don't know the exact. But let's say they're on the same level as the Tikka T1X in pricing, which I don't think they are. I think they're a little bit less. To be honest, I probably would take the CZ. I just think, not having to change the stock, not having to change the shroud. Sure, some of these things are aesthetic. Like, you don't have to change the barrel shroud. If you're happy with the plastic one, have at it. No problems whatsoever. Other than that, accuracy is good with the new stock, so I can't complain about that. All in all, I'm pretty happy. Now that I've got it now, obviously I wouldn't go and sell it to try and fund a CZ or anything like that. That wouldn't be, I'd probably lose money on that. But all in all, yeah, I'm happy. I'm pretty happy. I had some disposable income at the time, and I saved up a bit of tax money from last year and was able to buy it, so I can't really complain. The shorter barrel is one of the kicking points for me, which is fantastic. Really, really fantastic. One of the main reasons why I actually bought it. I wanted a nice little light hunting rifle that I can shoot and do well with. And I've actually got this rifle is singing out to about 150 using that reticle, because that reticle has 5 mil dots with half increment hashes. So it is just singing. I'm shooting rabbits at 140, 150 meters with those Ely high velocities, and it's stinging them hard. So I'm pretty impressed with it, and hopefully I can bring you guys some of that footage soon of some more rabbit shooting. I know you guys love that. So, like I said, take your pick. CZ455 if you're in that pricing bracket, or the Tikka T1X. Either one will probably do you service. But if I had to pick one at this stage, it probably would be the CZ, but not by much, because I probably still would buy that because I wanted the 16-inch barrel. But, I know they do make the CZ455 with the, I think it's a 16.5-inch barrel. But when I wanted to actually buy one of those, I couldn't find one in the country. So these actually came out before the CZ was back in stock. So I bought the Tikka T1X. I hope this helps you guys. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Tikka. I don't want people to think, I'm of course slagging on Tikka. I'm just telling you what a lot of people are talking about, not just me. There's a lot of people out there that weren't happy with the release. They weren't happy with the time frame surrounding the release. I think it was rushed a little bit. They could have taken their time. But all in all, I've got it shooting. So I'm bloody happy with that. I'm bloody happy. And hopefully I can showcase it in a few videos coming up, shooting rabbits. You guys will enjoy it, stinging a few rabbits at, 100, 120, 130 meters. I think you'll enjoy it. And I'm going away again soon to hunting deer, so I'm going to try and make a video about that. I'm hitting the Riverina again in less than about 10 weeks over the duck shooting season down there, rice mitigation. Not sure if my farmers in particular are going to be growing rice, but let's hope they are. And we'll give it a go and we'll see how we go. So anyway, guys, Tikka T1X, 22 long rifle, 16-inch barrel. If you really, really want one, you got your heart set on one, go out and buy one. You won't go wrong. But like I said, it is in that price range of the CZ455. So definitely something to consider, especially stainless versus blued, long barrel versus short barrel, all decisions that you need to make. So thank you for listening to this 6-month, update, and hopefully I've got some more footage coming for you soon. Thanks a lot. See you next time.